Okay. And that's also new to me. Um,
Excellent.
so basically what happened was this pandemic hit, and it hit around the same time as I got my letter from the US Census in the mail. So tell us
About the
what,
same time I was getting mine, indeed.
right. And so tell us why this is so important and why this might be even more important at this time.
So the census is critical to our state because we get each year $11 billion in federal funding based on how many people we have in our state. And there are more than 55 federal programs that people in Connecticut rely upon. And those range from the federal school lunch program, SNAP, WIC, Medicaid, community development, block grants, hospital funding, student loan funding, and a whole gamut of things that every city and every town relies upon. As an example, the city of Bristol gets more than $8 million a year in federal funding. So every city and town has a vested interest in making sure that their residents complete the form. And that's why over the past year and 3 months, we've been working hard to make sure that local complete count committees were organized. And so to date, we have 156 of our municipalities have created local complete count committees. And we have been in constant communication with them. And as late as at the end of last week, we emailed everyone on our statewide complete count committee and all of our local complete count committees and mayors and first selectmen to say the census is still going on. It's really important. Make sure you rededicate yourselves to getting your constituents ready to fill out the census.
And so the census for the first time this year can be filled out online, but how now that we can't actually be near people, do we reach people to convey that?
Yes, so this is the challenge, and let me just say first that to date, 27% of Connecticut's population has filled out the census. As of last night, it was 26.9%, so just under 27%, and we were a little bit ahead of other states. Now the Census the Census Bureau is tracking, so literally every state can see how they're doing every day. So one potential upside, Christine, of having everybody, many people working from home is this is an incentive, I hope, for people to go online and complete the census. And the lion's share of the people who have completed the census thus far have done so online or over phone. I know that we've gotten, I got 2 mailings to my home. I got a postcard and then I got a letter and the letter had an ID number that you can put in to identify your household. If you haven't gotten one of those letters, you can go online despite that. In addition, you can, if you want, you can wait until mid-April when the form that you can fill out by hand will be mailed to your home. But right now, while everyone is home and sheltering in place, please take the opportunity to fill it out. Now, you asked, how are we getting the message out? Well, we've asked our mayors and first selectmen to use their social media platform. We have, the state of Connecticut has a special census platform that we've been using to communicate with people. And we've asked our mayors and first selectmen to reach out to their complete count committees because their members are embedded in almost every community across the state. And each of those leaders has their own network. For instance, in our statewide complete count committee, the AFL-CIO is one of our members, and they've been very, very active. They have 220,000 members statewide. So they've been doing podcasts, they've been doing videos in different languages where their members get the message out. I've done podcasts with AFT and various nonprofit organizations. And in the past 2 weeks, I've had several teleconferences and Zoom meetings with some of our statewide complete count committee members. As an example, I think it was 2 days ago, I did a Zoom meeting with the Delta sorority chapter in New Haven, where their focus is to get a complete count of children in New Haven. So we've been trying to use all kinds of social media platforms, earned media, and Zoom meetings, just like we're doing right now.
And so what about people who don't have internet access and who are struggling at this time to stay in touch in that way?
Right, and this is a challenge because when our municipalities shut down the schools, a lot of public libraries were closed as well, and that's where a lot of people get access to the internet. So so there are still other ways to fill out the form. If you have a smartphone, you can fill out the census on your smartphone or your tablet if you have one. But there is an 800 number that you can call, and we can get you what that is. And that has language assistance in 12 different languages. So the 800 number is an option. And also, every household in the state that has not completed the census by the beginning of April, either by phone or online, will receive the paper form to their home. So that's the backup if you don't have internet access.
And the paper form will come when again? I'm sorry.
Mid-April.
Mid-April.
And every household, and there are over 133 million households in the country, and every household that hasn't filled it out online or by phone will get a form mailed to their home. And we should talk about deadlines because the deadlines have changed. The deadline originally was July 21st to fill out your census either online, by phone, or on paper. And that deadline has been extended to the end of August. So we want people to know that. But we think this is a great opportunity to either go online, call, use your phone, fill it out online if you can.
And it's probably more important now that we might see an increase in the number of SNAP recipients, the number of Medicaid recipients, given the current situation with the recession.
This is a catastrophic, the virus has caused a catastrophic economic crisis in our state. We've had over 100,000 people apply for unemployment. What we know from our phone lines and the governor's phone lines and people calling in, that now people are focused on applying for unemployment benefits, and we've seen a big uptick in people applying for SNAP, and the federal legislation is preparing for that, and we've also been trying to make sure that our food banks have food supplies because we are expecting that even more people. Right now, prior to this crisis, 1 in 9 families were food insecure. We know that ratio is going up, and we want to be prepared for that.
Okay. How have other things been going statewide, just in general? I know that the testing supplies were down, and the cases continue to increase. So, what is the latest just with the global situation here in Connecticut?
Yeah, so we've had hundreds of very generous people who have stepped up to donate PPE supplies, to donate ventilators, and our uh, Michelle Gilman, who is a deputy to Josh Jabal, is setting up a donation site and a volunteer site, because we've also seen many people who would like to volunteer in some way. And by the way, for your listeners or viewers who are wondering what can they do, you can schedule an appointment with the Red Cross to give blood. We are going to need that. And we do have some companies in Connecticut that are producing PPE supplies that we've heard from, and the state of Connecticut and the Department of Administrative Services are vetting those companies and aggressively placing orders with reputable companies, because we expect we're not going to get all that we ordered from the federal government. And so we really want to make sure that we have enough supplies, because we know already hospitals have been reporting that they're blowing through their protective equipment very quickly, and we want to make sure that we have what we need.
Well, I don't know if this is the gloves. Actually, a lot of surgical gloves are actually manufactured in Wuhan, China. So there have been a shortage of those coming over. And I got a press release this morning that the Department of Corrections is actually manufacturing surgical masks.
That's right. And we've had, that is a great thing. And we've had other companies step up to manufacture hand sanitizer. So in all of this, we've seen some really good entrepreneurship, which is great. I have to say, you asked about, what is this new situation? And I know reporters are adjusting to this as well. We are all, my staff and I are working remotely, as is the governor. And what I have to say is a little strange, is being ordered not to be in the same location as the governor. And I've had questions, Susan, why don't I see you at the press conferences with the governor? And that's because our public safety commissioner, Ravella, said a week and a half ago, okay, guys, the two of you cannot be going to the same events, because it would be catastrophic if both of you got sick at the same time. So we are trying to work in different locations around the state and make sure that, we get the message out that we're doing all we can to keep people in Connecticut safe.
Okay. And the other thing was, I had a budget question for you. We're not supposed to get the consensus revenues in until April 30th, but it looks like from OFA's report that a deficit is climbing, but Connecticut's actually not in an awful situation to weather the storm at the moment, because our rainy day fund is 13% of our general fund.
That's right. We have over $2 billion in our rainy day fund. Thank heaven. That is going to help us weather the economic storm. But we are looking forward to, number one, making grants available to small businesses who we know are struggling, and the governor announced that program yesterday, and that is meant to be a bridge for the much bigger federal program of grants and loans that is coming as soon as Congress approves it. And I do want to mention one other thing, because there were some rumors out there that the federal budget bill and the federal relief bill had a provision to delay the census for a year, and that is not part of the package. And I just want to make that clear. There are some rumors out there. It is required by our federal constitution that the census be conducted every 10 years, and that's not something that Congress could just change in a bill. So I wanted to dispel that, because there are some people that are operating under the assumption that that's going to be happening, and it isn't.
Okay, great. No, that's a good, there are a lot of rumors out there, and I think that it's an opportunity to dispel some of those rumors.
We were talking about the very high unemployment rate that we have now. So I also want to let people know that the Census Bureau is still hiring, so you can still apply for census jobs. They are, because of the crisis, they are not hiring and onboarding people right now, but they hope to be doing that. So please do, if you have an interest in working, and again, these jobs pay $25 an hour. So they are good paying part-time jobs, and there are some full-time jobs available. So people should go to the U.S. Census Bureau website and apply.
Okay, great, fantastic.
And I would mention too, there are a number of companies that have announced that they are hiring, and some of these are located in Connecticut, and they include CVS, Walgreens, Instacart, Domino's, Pizza Hut are some of the companies that are, and Bysiewicz, although I think you need a CTNewsJunkie license.
Okay, great. No, that's fantastic to know, because nobody likes to be unemployed.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So we hope people will take the opportunity if they need work to apply there.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time this morning. And this is strange that this is how we're going to have to be seeing each other for a while.
Exactly. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I look forward to seeing you in person soon.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. See you soon.